Welcome to our virtual fireside again today. Today's tale comes from Aesop's Fables, timeless stories that have been teaching wisdom for thousands of years. I was thinking about this particular story when I recently noticed how we can make mountains out of molehills in our daily lives. This fable, The Hare and His Ears, reminds us of what can happen when we let our imagination run wild without worry. So, settle in and let's journey together to a meadow where a certain long-eared fellow is about to learn an important lesson. Long ago, in a meadow where wildflowers nodded their colorful heads in gentle breeze and tall grasses whispered secrets to one another, there lived a young hare. Now, this wasn't just any hare. He was known throughout the woodland for his magnificent ears that stood tall and proud above his soft brown fur. These ears weren't merely for show, they were his greatest treasure. They could catch the faintest rustle of a fox's paw padding through the underbrush, or the distant call of an owl preparing for its nightly hunt. With a simple twitch of those remarkable ears, the hare could sense danger long before it arrived, giving him precious moments to dash away to safety. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves drifted down from the trees and the air carried a sweet scent of ripening berries, the young hare was nibbling on clover at the edge of the meadow. Suddenly, his magnificent ears picked up an unusual sound, the murmur of many animal voices gathered together. Curiosity pricked through his fur. What could be happening? He wondered. His pink nose twitched with interest. Following the sounds, he hopped through the patches in dappled sunlight until he came upon a clearing where the king of the beasts, the mighty lion, was holding court. Animals of all kinds gathered, foxes with their bushy tails, badgers with their striped faces, squirrels with their twitching whiskers, and many, many more. The hare's sensitive ears easily caught the announcement being made. The king had declared that all animals with horns must leave the kingdom immediately. Apparently, the lion had dreamed that a horned animal would threaten his rule, and in his fear, he had banished them all. The hare watched as the proud stag, the gentle doe, the sturdy goat, and the massive bull all hung their heads as they began to prepare for exile. How fortunate I am, thought the hare, to have these splendid ears instead of horns. But as he sat smugly observing the scene, a terrible thought struck him. His heart began to pound, like a drummer's hand against his tiny ribs. What if, he worried, his nose now twitching frantically, the king mistakes my long ears for horns? They do stand up quite tall on my head. The more he thought about it, the more fearful he became. His ears, once his greatest pride, now seemed like a terrible liability. What if someone pointed him out to the lion? What if the king's guards came searching for horned creatures and spotted his tall ears poking above the grass? With anxious thought, the hare's fear grew until he could no longer bear it. Without waiting another moment, he turned tail and bounded away from the kingdom as fast as his powerful legs could carry him. For days, the hare ran through unfamiliar forests and across strange meadows, his ears pressed flat against his back to make them less visible. He slept in hidden hollows and ate whatever meager foods he could find, always looking over his shoulder, always afraid. It wasn't until many days later, when exhaustion finally overcame his fear, that the hare realized the truth. No one had ever pursued him. No lion's roar had echoed behind him. No royal guards had searched for a hare with a horn like ears. He had fled his comfortable home, his favorite clover patch, and all his friends because of a fear that existed only in his imagination. Sitting beneath a strange oak tree in a foreign wood, the hare slowly raised his ears once more, feeling the cool breeze between them. "How foolish I've been," he sighed to himself. "My ears are just ears, not horns. I let my fears run away with me when I should have used these ears to listen more carefully and my mind to think more clearly." Isn't it interesting how we sometimes create our own problems? That poor hare running away from dangers that existed only in his mind. I wonder how many times we've done the same thing in our own lives, letting our fears grow bigger than they really are. Next time that you find yourself worrying about something, take a moment to wiggle your imaginary hare ears and ask yourself, is this really as bad as I think it is? Or am I making my ears into horns? If you enjoyed today's fable, please tap the like button and subscribe to join our storytelling community. In the comments, maybe you can write about a time when you really worried about something bigger than the actual problem was. Your story might help someone else who's feeling the same way. Until next time, keep those ears perked for wisdom and not for worry.